Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I am gonna do a big book haul. I've already filmed this video before thinking I was filming a September TBR, then I realized that 1. It was a lot of thriller and horror books, 2. There was a lot of books, 3. They were pretty much just a book haul and not really what I intended to read because I do have plans linked to some videos I'm making and some book clubs that I'm participating in, and these were not the same books, so I realized I was never going to read these books in September, probably maybe in October, and since they're all kind of thriller, horror, spooky books in general, it fits so much better for the month of October anyway. Regardless of when I'm gonna read them, I just thought I would tell you guys what I have bought recently. I'm gonna start with 3 sci-fi books that I've bought recently. The first one is The Space Between Worlds. You may notice that it has a shiny cover. That is because the people who sent it to me, Goldsboro Book, packaged it this way, and I really like the fact that I was protecting the cover for now, so I just thought I would take it off once I've actually read the book. It's also got black spray edges and it is a signed copy, which has me very excited, with a number as well because it's limited to 500 copies, and this is copy number 152. So this is really nice. This, from what I understand, tells the story of a girl who lives in a world where you can only travel between different parallel universes if you are already dead in that other universe. And she realizes that she can pretty much travel between all of them, except like 12 or something, I can't remember exactly how many, because she has actually died in so many of them. When she realizes that yet another one of herselves in another parallel universe actually is killed, she understands that someone might be after her and her last lives. I don't know much else than this about this, but it just sounds really interesting, really fun, and completely different from anything I've read before. I do like a bit of sci-fi and I haven't read sci-fi in a while, so I thought I might make this part of a little video where I read 3 sci-fi books. And because I am not a complete masochist, I also bought 2 novellas that is really short books for sci-fi. So the first one I got is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is part of a series called the Murderbot Diaries, and I've heard a lot of great things about it and that it had really fun humor. I think that we basically follow the main character is like a robot that has been nicknamed Murderbot. That's all I know, literally all I know. I think it's got a couple of missions that has been made by a team of scientists, and that one of the missions goes bad or something like that. That's very much everything I know about this book. The other novella that I bought is To Be Tote If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I've heard a lot both about this particular novella and the author, and I'm really excited to read my very first book by Becky Chambers. I do know that it's about interplanetary exploration and that we follow a main character called Ariadne, that she's an explorer who's on a mission, and that while she's away with her crew, the Earth continues to change, and that there's a lot happening on planet Earth while they're away doing interplanetary exploration, I guess. That's really all I know. I think there's a lot more to it, but I've literally got no clue what it talks about except that it's a novella, it's sci-fi, it's by a great author, and I'm just really excited to read it. So next, I have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So don't come for me, but I've actually never read a single book by Leigh Bardugo. I know that she's a very famous author of YA novels in general, and that this was her very first adult novel. What it talks about, from what I understand, is basically college and secret societies, and I think the main character is there to go undercover and understand more about some of these secret societies, and that it's quite dark. There might be an element of supernatural to it, and that's pretty much all I know about it. Next, I have bought So Kill Girls and Rules for Vanishing. The reason why I'm showing both of those at the same time is because they are both YA novels that involve the disappearance of young girls in small town somewhere, and girls, main characters who are trying to figure out what happened and discover what happened to these girls, and there's a bit of a horror element slash supernatural element, like we're not really sure what happened to them, whether, you know, they died because of human stuff or something else. That's really all I know about both of these books, but they have such similar summaries and stories that I'm just not sure which one I'm gonna pick first, and I do want to read both of them at some point or another. Next, I bought The Night Swim by Megan Golden. So I've heard about this book quite a lot online, especially on YouTube. I think because it was one of the Book of the Month book. I don't have access to Book of the Month because I don't live in the US, but I was fairly jealous and I really wanted to buy it. It's a thriller novel that follows the adventure of this woman who's, I think, a podcast host, and she's become quite famous, and her podcast has got a very wide success. And she gets called by some people in a small town to actually come and solve a real crime, I guess, while she podcasts about it or something. It sounds really interesting and intriguing. Kind of makes me think of the whole Michelle McNamara thing. I've just been reading a lot of really good reviews about it, so I think it's going to be quite a fun read. And I just love the cover as well. I think it's so pretty. Next, I bought Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. So the main reason I bought it and I want to read it is because I am participating in some reading book clubs online and on YouTube, including Books and Lala's Literary Dead book club, which the next read is Catherine House. I can't participate, unfortunately, on every single read of that book club because some of them, like Home Before Dark, were out in the US but not in the UK and not coming out on time for me to be able to participate that month. But I am able to participate with this one, so I'm very excited. I do want to read this. Again, a little bit similar to Ninth House. I think the vibes from this book are pretty much college and secret society type of thing. Although I would say it's more the higher education place itself. I don't know if it's a college or a university or something else, but basically it's called Catherine House and it's very prestigious, and it's where a lot of very successful people have gone. So it's not so much secret society, it's just the entire place is kind of secretive. And the main character gets accepted there and joins the place and I guess discovers a lot of secrets about it, and we follow, I believe, her 3 years there. I'm not quite sure. I think that there's something to do with her roommate as well, and it talks about tragedy in the summary, so perhaps her roommate dies or something like that, and she's trying to figure out why. And it's for the month of September, so I'm gonna try and read it in September, not in October, and get it finished on time for the live stream that will come out at the end of this. Next, I bought a classic. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, mostly because look at this cool cover. I just love how shiny it is. I just found this book when I went back home to see my parents in one of the bookstores, and I really wanted to buy it, mainly because of the cover. But I have also read a couple of Agatha Christie before and really enjoyed those books, so I just figured I would enjoy this one as well. It is such a big one in the books that she's written, everyone knows about it, and I'm just excited to finally get to read it because I've never read it before. Next, I have bought My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. So this book tells the story of two friends, Abby and Gretchen, who go skinny dipping one night, and then when they come back, Gretchen, I believe? Yeah, Gretchen begins to act differently and she's all weird and moody and irritable and sounds a lot like me in the morning before I've had my coffee, but basically it sounds like she is being possessed. And there's a very ominous sentence on the back of the book in the summary saying, "Is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil?" So it just sounds really cool. I've heard a lot of great stuff about this book, like only raving reviews, a lot of people raving about the author in general. And I just love this cover that's like a fake VHS cover with a little 80s Be Kind Please Rewind. It's got fake movie stills at the back as well, which is quite cool. And I don't know, I just think that the whole design concept of the cover is so fucking cool. And then I went and bought this other book, also by Grady Hendrix, kind of also because I've heard so much good things about the author in general, so I'm quite excited to read this one as well. It's called The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and it obviously has to do with vampires. I think this tells the story of this woman who is part of a Southern Book Club, and she meets this really attractive guy, but around the same time a bunch of kids start disappearing across town, and she starts suspecting that it's his fault and that he might be a vampire. That's literally all I know about this book. That's the summary pretty much of it, the official one, and I know nothing else, so I am quite intrigued by it, and I also feel like that would be quite a fun October read. Finally, the last book that I got is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. So I've only acquired this one quite recently, so from what I understand about this book, it's about a group of friends who are all in their 80s and they formed a club called the Thursday Murder Club because they're fascinated, I think, by real murders and true crime. But then at some point a real murder happens right on their doorstep and they're pulled straight into a live case. I think that's it. That's all the books that I got and that were part of this book haul. I think a lot of them sound really fun and just spooky and perfect for autumn. But yeah, I guess I will see you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. See you guys later.